In an industry long dominated by men, a new wave of women is reshaping the future of tech and business. From software development to executive leadership, women are breaking barriers, challenging stereotypes, and driving innovation at every level. Yet, their journey is far from easy. Bias, both visible and subtle, remains a persistent hurdle. But through resilience, collaboration, and a growing support network, women are not just participating in the digital economy, they are leading that sector. Welcome my guest, Dr. Adaora Dagogo, Managing Director of StareChat. She joins me live here at the Right Studios to discuss this further. It's great to have you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank
it's
you.
a pleasure.
And a very great dress you have there,
Thank
representing
you so
Africa
much.
and Nigeria in particular, by the way. So that's really appreciated. In your views, let's talk about this. What are the biggest barriers keeping women from leading in tech? Are we talking about access, culture, confidence, among other things? Talk to me.
Yes, I believe it's all of these things that you've rightly mentioned and even much more. Access is still a major hurdle today. Many girls still lack exposure to digital tools as well as mentors early on. And peradventure, they're even able to get access. Confidence and culture is still a major obstacle that they face today. We have this, bias around and narrative being shared that tech is a man's world. And so these are things that we need to challenge. But beyond all of these things, there's still a subtle bias that's going by the day, where we see ladies who happen to be in tech not being able to rise in leadership roles. We see many of them in the junior roles. And these are systemic barriers that we must try to break and create that ecosystem where every lady, every girl feels the need to lead and thrive in the tech ecosystem.
So we've got Nigeria's tech system booming. Do you think we still face risks if women or girls aren't intentionally included? And I underscore the word intentionally or deliberately.
The risk is that we build a future that mirrors the inequities of the past. I mean, Nigeria's digital economy is rapidly rising by the day, but if we do not intentionally include women in that, we would risk, losing half of our talent pool today. Innovation really thrives on inclusion. Imagine if we have a room that's just, one perspective that cannot drive the future that we're looking at today. But beyond all of these things, girls will continue to see the IT sector as one that they are not part of, one that they cannot, be a part of. And inclusion for me should not be an accident. It should be something that is by design.
Interesting. So you talk about Empower Tech, and I'm sure you push in a lot of needle, and we really appreciate that. So talk to me about Empower Tech, bridging the digital divide, in particular for girls and women across Africa. What strategies have worked, where, and how do you think those can be improved upon?
For us at Empower Tech, one of the things that we try to do is to start with confidence before code. So that means before we begin to teach the skills, the IT skills necessary, we try to ensure that we change and shift the mindset, giving these ladies a mindset that they can lead, they can thrive, and their voice is important. So we do have mentors that come in to share their success story, one that these ladies can relate to. Secondly, for us would be that we try to ensure that these mentors are young mentors in their 20s and in their 30s, something that makes their story much more relatable. So these are a few things that we put in place to ensure that we are able to pass the message across to these ladies during Empower Tech. I remember a time when a lady said to me, I didn't see myself doing this until you showed up, and that was really fantastic and something I'll never forget in my lifetime.
So how does it work? Empower Tech. How do you onboard them?
So practically what we do is we go to schools all around Africa, in Nigeria, different states across Nigeria and Africa, and we teach them IT skills, workshops in cybersecurity, UI, UX design, software development, data analytics. We have mentors that come in and have these workshops, and then after the workshop, we also do have like a mentorship program where we continue with what we have started with them, the seeds that we've sown in them, we continue that. And we also give out laptops because we feel that beyond having the skills and the passion, having the right tools to, push your career forward is very important. And we've had many ladies see IT as something that's now a possibility for them.
Okay, so Adaora, let's look at this about collaboration. And I'm sure you talk about institutions such as Shell, UNICEF, and others. And also, how far has how much helping hand have you had on this journey?
Okay. For StackEd, we do not just sell IT services, to be honest. I mean, we're that IT extension for your company. So that means while you focus on your core services, be it being in the financial sector or e-commerce or the healthcare, whichever, we are that IT extension for you. So we handle everything IT. But it's not just the ability to sell these IT services, but also the ability to have a long-term partnership with you. And for us, that's key. So before we begin to think about just that one-time deal, we're thinking about how long can we harness this partnership, 5 years, 10 years, and those are key things. And then another thing that has really helped us thus far is the fact that we set global standards. So it's not just having that African mentality. I mean, we're registered in both Europe and in Africa, but we set those global standards in the sense that our competitors for us are outside of Africa, and that helps us to raise the bar much higher. So if we think that our competitors are in Africa, then probably we would do less. But when we think that the competitors are outside of Africa, then that inspires us to give our very best and keeps pushing us to give the most to our clients.
Okay, so I'm sure based on experience and your partnerships and relating to them, I'm asking myself, what skills, what mindset do you think girls and women, especially in Africa, need to have, most critical for them, who wants to thrive in tech, in entrepreneurship, and of course, take the lead in that space?
I would say resilience is key. Curiosity as well is key. You must learn to always ask questions. Young ladies must learn to be bold enough to speak, to ask those questions, to keep studying, to keep searching. The table is not just going to be handed over to you. You have to go get it yourself. And so that means you must have the skill set that's necessary, the knowledge that's necessary to literally, have or earn a seat at that table. And secondly is resilience. People will tell you no. They'll also be shot at you. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a dream. That doesn't mean that you should quit. It's part of it. Those no's and those doors shut at you should give you much more reason to keep pushing regardless of those barriers.
All right, so I'm a 16-year-old girl watching this interview, and I'm not too sure of my place in tech. So what would you tell her about her power, her potential, and the opportunities out there and the challenges being faced? And 16, 18?
Yeah. What I would say to that 16-year-old probably watching me right now is that the world doesn't need you to be perfect. The world just needs you to show up. You do not need anyone to validate you. You don't need anyone to tell you, sometimes people are waiting for that, you are good enough. You don't need anyone to tell you you're good enough because you are already enough. And you must remember that these things ought not to hold you back. You have to push and you must start now because tomorrow might be too late. I'll see you at the top for sure.
Oh, interesting. And I picked just a phrase, confidence before code.
Yes.
So before learning how to code, confidence.
The mindset must be right.
I love that. Mindset is everything.
Thank you so much.
We'll have this handshake. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's good having you around, and we thank you for all you're doing on the ground, contributing to the state of Nigerian and Africans' young children, especially girls, by the way, and women. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. And nice dress.